This lesson is on PSA integrations. We'll start by covering what the PSA integrations allow you to do. We'll start with the QDesk product. Some of the main features of QDesk are allowing MSPs to verify their end users' identities, as well as the ability for the MSP to easily reset a password or unlock an account. Without a PSA integration, these actions would have to be performed within the CyberQP dashboard. As an example, let's look at a ConnectWise managed ticket. Here you'll see on the right side of the screen, we have this CyberQP pod. This allows the MSP technician to easily reset a password, send a password reset link, perform an identity verification, or unlock an account, all from right within the PSA ticket. Additionally, any of the actions that are performed within this pod are all logged in the internal ticket notes. This may look a little different on the Autotask side, but you get the same functionality. On the QGuard side, there's nothing around functionality that you can do inside of the PSA. It's meant more as a means to import your customers. So typically with QGuard, a lot of the integrations is around the documentation system. And with the documentation system, you'd import your customer list from there. If you're in a scenario where you're not using one of our supported documentation systems, you might have to come in here and add a customer manually. If you have a supported PSA integration, you can simply import your customer list from PSA to save you the effort of having to create customers manually. For now, I'm going to create a customer manually that we're going to use later on inside of the lesson. I'm going to call this customer Acme Corporation and then save. Now for actually setting up the PSA integration. On the left-hand nav, we're going to navigate to integrations. And here you'll see we have integrations with ConnectWise Manage and Autotask PSA. There are steps that need to be performed inside of the PSA prior to setting up the connection inside of the dashboard. That includes setting up API keys as well as different security groups around those. We're not going to cover that in this lesson, but if you are setting this up in your environment, we do have step-by-step instructions in our knowledge base that outline how to get those set up. We'll start by setting up Autotask. So I'm going to click either the plus sign or the Autotask logo. Here, I'll be asked for the API credentials that I had created inside of the PSA. I'm going to go ahead and paste those in and then click connect. You'll see up top the integration was enabled. Since I don't currently have any customers added from Autotask or linked, you'll see this page is blank. The next page is to match customers. After we click match customers, we'll be shown all of our Autotask customers. We're going to pause here for the ConnectWise folks and show what it looks like on that end. There's one minor difference between the setups. We'll just review that, and then we'll get back to this screen that looks the same for both. Back at the integrations page here, just going to go through for ConnectWise. From here, we're going to enter our fully qualified domain name. In my case, our ConnectWise environment is in their staging tenant, so I'm putting the staging URL there. Company ID, you should be familiar with your company ID from when you're usually logging into ConnectWise. And then you will put the public and private key that you would have generated inside of ConnectWise Manage. Now that the integration's been set up, I'm just going to click into the ConnectWise logo. This page should look familiar from when we set up Autotask. And similarly, since we don't have anything added, we don't see anything on this page. Now this is where the difference comes in between the two integrations. For ConnectWise, when we click Match Customers, we're given this option of selecting the type and status. These are essentially filters to determine what shows up on the next page. Here you can select the type, which might commonly be customer, and a status, which may commonly be active. This may differ depending on your business. For type, you may have something like managed service clients versus break-fix clients. Again, you'll just want to make sure you're selecting the customers that you actually want imported. After we select a type and a status, we're going to go ahead and click select. Now, this is the page where we had left off with Autotask. After this, all the steps are the same for both PSA integrations. Here, we have a few different options. We're given a list of all of our customers. If we want to create this customer inside of the CyberQP dashboard, we can simply check off a few different customers that we want. Or if we're looking to create all these customers, we click the checkbox for this entire column, and it will select all the customers. In my case, I only have 61 customers that met the criteria I had previously set, but if you're in the Autotask integration, or if you have more customers in those filtered criteria, you may see a large number up here, in which case you may not want to create all those customers in the portal. You may want to use a search and manually narrow down some of those customers. Now, notice here, there is a suggested match. If you remember earlier on in the lesson, I had went and created a customer manually. So if prior to setting up the PSA integration, you already started going through and creating customers and deploying agents and onboarding, not to worry, you don't have to remove those and start from scratch. Our system detected that there was a company that had the same name, so it suggested this match automatically. If by chance this wasn't the same company, we could always click the trash icon and then click the match icon again to match with the correct company. Or additionally, we could just create a new company. In my case, I'm going to stick with that match. I'm just going to go ahead and select a few companies here that I want to import and click Save. Up top, you'll see the customer connected successfully with the ConnectWise company. It returns us to the linked page where we see the link between these customers. If we ever needed to disconnect a customer, or if we accidentally made a mistake, we could always click the pencil icon to change which company it's matched to. If we navigate back to the customers page, we'll now see all those customers that we had selected. Also, if you look at the integrations column, you'll see the ConnectWise logo indicating that this company has been matched with a ConnectWise company. As part of the functionality with QDesk, you'll also go through a process of matching an end user account to a contact inside of PSA. That's not covered by the integrations page, but that will be covered during the QDesk onboarding lesson. And that concludes the lesson on the PSA integration.